You preparing as though you're anticipating you're going to be the starter?
Yeah, I'm preparing to get ready to go. You know, we're all just doing a great job. Had a great week of practice so far. We got to have another great day tomorrow.
How is this week different for you than the first 6 weeks of the season?
I'm more myself, physically being able to run and all that stuff. So I feel good. It's been a great week so far, and we're just, we're just excited to play, on Sunday night, obviously at home in front of our fans.
Mike talked about the rust. Do you think you knocked that off? Is that something?
Yeah, every time it's the first game of the year for me, but I've been fortunate to be in a lot of first games, so the confidence is there obviously, and then obviously just being out with the guys. That's the fun part about this game is just playing the game you love and doing the physical part of getting in the end zone hopefully and scoring a bunch of touchdowns.
Russ, I'm sorry.
There you go. Okay.
Do you feel like if you play, you have something to prove?
I think every time you step into the white lines, you're proving something. You're proving who your team is as a group. Who we are as a team. That's the focal point. And obviously going out. They have a very good defense. They do a lot of great things on defense. So we got to bring our best game.
Russ, when we asked Mike Tomlin about the offense, it's been good but not great. What do you hope you can do to elevate it to that next level and make it a great offense?
I think first of all, I think Justin's done a great job. I think he's a tremendous quarterback. I've gone against him over the years. He's a tremendous football player, a great teammate, and all that. And I think more importantly for us, as we continue to go on through the season, we want to get better and continue to grow. That's always the goal every year, right? Is to continue to progress, to continue to get better from game in to game out. As you go on from game 6 to game 7, 7 to 8, you want to just keep rising, keep getting better. I think the best thing for us is, just focusing on winning this week. Nothing else down the road, nothing else, and just being in the moment, man, embracing the moment. Man. We get to play the best game in the world, the game of football. Get to do it with, 10 other guys in the huddle. There's a great group of guys in this team, and leadership, and everything else. So that's what we're focused on. Just continue to get better every day.
What does feeling more like yourself look like? I mean, was there a point when you realized this is where I need to be? I feel better.
Yeah, I think you want to be able to move around, and it's. Obviously I've never really missed games before, so that's been a challenge in itself. It's been disappointing, but also I've grown a lot too. I think that you realize that, you just continue to love every day. You continue to find ways to lead. You continue to find ways to just embrace the challenges, the hard stuff, the obstacles in our way, and everything else. And you look forward to the journey. My favorite scripture is James 1:2, consider it pure joy. You can go through trials and tribulations because the testing of your faith. And I think that, by faith, you got to continue to believe that, the best day to tomorrow is going to be the best day. And you just continue to just focus on that path. And that's kind of, how I've been focused along the way, and just kind of just cheering on our teammates, doing everything I can to help on game day, even though I wasn't able to physically be out there. But, I think, the opportunity to obviously play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, what a gift, and, you realize that every time you get to put on the helmet and everything else, it's a true gift. I thank God every day for it.
Russ, did you learn anything watching? Is it a coincidence that you quoted the same Bible verse as Fields earlier this morning, or are you talking to him and sharing some of the same messages?
No, I think we share the same faith. When we've gone through some stuff, we obviously communicate, and I shot him a text just letting him know that, man, I'm just proud of him. I've just being an African American quarterback in the National Football League. I remember when I was a rookie coming in, there wasn't many of us, to be honest with you, and the journey was hard. It was challenging. It was just playing quarterback in general was hard, and then with all the obstacles and everything else. And so I cherish that. And I think that you lift other people up, vice versa. And he's a great player. I know who I am too as a player, and who we are as a team, and what we can be. And the best thing is that potential doesn't mean anything though. We got to do it. We got to do it as a team. We got great potential. We got to do it as a team, and we're doing that. We're in the process of that. That's the fun part. That's the part that you embrace and you love, and we'll keep going.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
You mentioned you haven't missed many. Did you pick anything up watching? Was that beneficial to you?
Yeah, I think you always learn. You learn every day at practice. You're constantly growing. You're constantly studying the game. Now I'm obsessed with the game of football, so there's always stuff that you're watching from our team, other teams, what they're doing, how we're doing it. I think that to be able to also, really just be in the system, and just it's been great, just learning from Arthur. I'm excited about the opportunity.
Russ, you mentioned challenges as being an African-American quarterback. What are some of those challenges that you've been able to overcome in your career?
I think coming in, first of all, you battle with the height. Everybody's saying you can't do it from that. Second of all, I think that, just the I think early on when you come into the National Football League, and for me it was 2012. There's some great guys that were doing it at the time. Obviously Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick. There was, there's Robert Griffin came in the same class as me. Tyrod Taylor, but there wasn't that many of us playing. And now it's cool to see, just the growth of the game. Obviously I was fortunate to win the Super Bowl the second year in the NFL, and to be the second African American quarterback to win. Man, that's one of my coolest honors ever. And think about all the guys that came before me, and I learned from, and I watched, guys like Donovan McNabb, and watching Michael Vick, he's a Virginia guy, just so many other greats too. And so, I think you're constantly learning, and I think the challenges along the way are familiar, in terms of, the obstacles and everything else you have to deal with. But I think it's also one of the greatest gifts too. And so when much is given, much is required. And there's a journey, there's challenges, there's things, but also it's the best thing in the world to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's just it's a gift, and I'm grateful for it.
Timing is important in any offense. Timing is important in any offense. How have you worked on that timing with guys like Calvin, George, guys that you haven't been able to play a game with you?
Yeah, I think you're constantly working extra. You're doing it. Even when I was injured and everything else, we were getting extra work on the side. So that was key, doing as much as I could. But also, I think just talking ball. These guys love football. Calvin, George, and just talking details and what his thought process and how we see things. And then Van Jefferson, he's a guy who's a champion, a guy who's a great, tremendous worker. Scotty Miller, there's so many guys that we have, the plethora of receivers that we have, the tight ends, the running backs. Obviously Pat Fryermuth's so talented. Darnell. I look forward to the guys that we have, and I always think that the dark horse of guy who's one of probably the smartest and gets the game of football is Connor Hayward. I think just how he sees the game. So I think with our backs and with our guys up front and everything else, we got a lot of opportunity, and we're just constantly learning. And I think that's how you create the timing and rhythm is through the work.
Russ, where is your admiration of Aaron Rodgers, and do you get any extra charge being on the field and competing against quarterbacks?
He's a tremendous quarterback, obviously, Hall of Fame quarterback, guy who's been in the league for a long time. We've had some battles along the way and everything else, and so I really respect how he throws the football, how he goes about throwing it, and it's pretty special to watch.
Russ, how do you navigate maybe any awkwardness that comes in a quarterback room when there could be a switch, a change at the starting position? You've been in the league a long time. Just how do you kind of navigate those situations?
I went through a challenge last year, kind of unexpected along the way, and that was challenging in itself. But at the same time, you lead with love. You lead with love for the game, love for your teammates, just love for what you get to do every day. And through that, that's where I think that's where you grow as a group, as a team, and everything else. And man, I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I know Justin is grateful too, and we're working our butts off every day. And for me personally, I came here for one reason. That was to win the Super Bowl. That was to go as far as we could and see where we could go with it. I think we have that opportunity. But we got to do the work. There's a lot more to go. There's a lot more games. There's a lot more tough challenges along the way. And through those challenges, I think love's going to bring it all together and just allow us to embrace one another and just understand that the obstacles are going to be worth it, and we're going to overcome them all, and we're going to do it together.
What kind of challenges both the Jets' pass rush and their secondary present?
Yeah, their pass rush is real. Their secondary is talented. Their linebackers fly around. They do a lot of great things. So we got to be ready. We got to be on our A game.
So, Justin, what do you know about the plan for this week at quarterback?
I know that I'm preparing the same. So, yeah.
Have they told you anything about who's going to start?
No.
Is this a week where you've talked a lot about your mentality doesn't change, don't get too high, don't get too low? Is that a week where you kind of lean on that demeanor and that just kind of steadiness while things seem like there's so much in flux?
I think it's a lifestyle. It's not something you do. You don't really choose. When you do it, I think it's just the way I am and kind of how I operate. So yeah.
Justin, is it a little frustrating if you don't start, considering how you played the first 6 games?
I mean, I don't think I played good enough. If I'm being real with you, You know, if I'm being real with myself, I think if, you know, I did play well enough, I don't think there would be, you know, any sort of who should be playing, who should not. So at the end of the day, you know, we got a few wins. Of course, I'm glad about that, but you know, there's areas that, you know, I could be better at, and, you know, I'm just gonna, you know, continue to work on those and continue to get better.
What are those areas?
Like I said, I mean, it's so much areas. I mean, I feel like this question gets asked a lot, but nobody's perfect in one area. So if you're not perfect, then you're just gonna want to keep improving. So
how have you felt about how Arthur Smith has challenged you throughout the year? You know, you had 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Where he's pushed you and how he's pushed you to be better this year?
I mean, yeah, he just pushes me every day. You know, to get better. You know, as a quarterback, you know, developmental-wise, and really just a person too. So you know, I love Arthur. He knows that, and yeah, glad, you know, that he's our OC, of course. So, yeah.
Justin, if you aren't the starter, how do you handle that role, and those emotions?
Just do the same thing I was doing. You know, yeah, I mean, just do my job at the end of the day, and whether that's, you know, playing, it's, you know, helping the guys out on the sideline, telling them what I see, helping Russ out if he's out there. So just small stuff like that.
If you're called upon to play in packages, how will your role change or your preparation change on preparing to come off the bench rather than, you know, starting it?
Like I said, it's not necessarily going to change. You know, depending on how things go, I've been in, you know, both situations before. I've, you know, played the backup role, and I've also started. So you know, you as a backup, you prepare the same each and every week. So preparation doesn't change at all.
Did you get everything out of the first 6 weeks that you wanted to?
Not really. I mean, I want to be 6-0 right now. But no, it was a great opportunity for me. You know, of course, I'm, you know, grateful for the opportunity I did get those first 6 weeks, and, you know, we'll just see what happens this week. So.
From game 1 to now, what do you think is the biggest thing you guys have as an offensive unit have improved upon?
You know, I like last game how we took advantage of, you know, the defense's turnovers, how we capitalized in those areas. But of course, you know, there's always stuff to work on.
How much do you get motivated by setbacks? Like last week, you were talking about getting a C in math and wanting to work really hard to make sure that didn't happen again. How much does, you know, if you do go to the bench, how much does that motivate you?
I mean, yeah, you know, James, I think it's James chapter 1, verse 2. It says, you know, find pure joy in, you know, trials and tribulations, because, you know, at the end it's just gonna, you know, make you persevere more. So, you know, I just try to, you know, fall back on scripture, and at the end of the day, just, you know, just be grateful at the same time. You know, have gratitude for everything that I have, but, you know, also not be complacent. And you know, what did I have? So any little setback, you know, I just know it's going to make me better, not only as a person but as a player too. So.
This is a long season. What's your confidence level that you will be able to contribute in some way to this team's success going forward?
You know, I think you just never know, you know, what happens. Like you said, it's a long season, and, you know, life is crazy in general. So you just never know.
Justin, how's your relationship been with your teammates? What's their support been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. You know, I'm, you know, close with a lot of guys, and everybody's, you know, in the locker room is very supportive of each other. We all love each other, so, you know, everybody in the locker room has been great for sure.
Who do you lean on during, you know, times that are kind of chaotic? Is there someone outside the locker room that you go to that's kind of a steadying presence?
I think just my family members, you know, my close friends. You know, I think, you know, those are the people who I lean on.